When we talk about divorce in this miserable way, like, oh, I'm so sorry, we're missing the bigger picture. And people are missing the bigger picture, which is the message that I want to give, which is that it's a positive step. And when people, it takes a lot of courage when a couple makes a decision to get a divorce and to move on. And it really signifies a belief in a better future.
So if you know of anyone who, you're tempted to say, I'm sorry, don't say I'm sorry. Just tell them, I know someone who's been through it and ended up really happy.
But that really is the message that I want to give people. I had thought that divorce was going to be the end of the world and my children are going to be destroyed. And much to my surprise, my life turned out, after going through the hard times, happier and better than any life I had ever lived before. It's the book that I wish that I had read when I was so frightened that divorce was going to be the end of the world. It's not about just the end of what was. It's a turnaround. And when we talk about divorce as if it's a kind of a death and an ending and a failure, I think we miss the bigger picture, which is that it's about the life that comes after and the better life that we're going to make for ourselves and our children afterward.
What I like to say is I like to, use the analogy, it's kind of like childbirth. Nobody disputes that childbirth is awful.
It's painful, it's difficult, nobody likes it, but look what you get at the other end. You get this glorious new life. And in this case, the new life was my own.
How did you do it?
Well, it didn't always feel so easy. In the beginning, I was afraid of so many things, and I had financial fears. I was worried. I hadn't worked at a job for over 10 years since my first child was born.
You were a homemaker.
I had helped my husband in his business, and little by little, I put a new life together, and I started writing local business stories for the local newspapers, and then became an editor, and then a radio commentator, and went on to write this book and start my own company. So I never would have been tested in that way had I not had the opportunity to get out on my own. And then I got to choose where I lived, and I got to have a great relationship with my sons that I had never really had before, and started enjoying things so much differently than I had during a bad marriage. I really wanted to give that message of encouragement. I wish I had had that message when I was going through. That I found that I could be alone without being lonely, which was a wonderful discovery. That I could have fun with my children in a new way that I hadn't really before because I had a stressful marriage.
The best gift of all may have been the new relationship that I had with my sons. I was the one who would pack the backpacks and make the lunches and schedule the appointments and do all that, while their dad was the one who had fun with them. When we went on family vacations, he was the one who took them into the swimming pool or did the fun stuff with them, and I was back in the room, fixing things up. And they said, "Mom, come play with us. Play miniature golf with us." And I said, "I don't know how to play miniature golf. I think I played once when I was a child. You don't need me there." They said, "No, 4 makes a good, tournament. Come play with us, please." It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience, and we went on to have fun times like that.
There's a chapter in here called Friends with My Ex-Husband that he was actually somewhat shocked to read, I'm sure, which is that even in the worst of times, I can't help feeling something akin to affection for this person who would live and die for my children, as I would.
It was the beginning of a great new life that my children were not terribly harmed, which I had been fearful of. And so it really was, I did live happily ever after.
And I wrote this book because I really want to tell anybody who's in that sad time or worried about it, you will smile again.
Thank you so